Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Tony Lalabotri, and I'm part of PAG2 Crescendo.
Hi everyone, my name is Shamila Umutasate, part of PAG2 as well. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Vedi Rachmiram Kelawan, part of PH2 as well.
Hi everyone, this is Salif Sujida. I'm part of PAG2 Crescendo as well.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline, part of Crescendo. We also have one of our colleagues, Carol, who's not able to join, but will be substituted by Tony. We hope you love the presentation, and over to you, Vedi, to lead us through the start.
Thank you so much, Caroline. So the presentation is titled Winning in Africa's Money Transfer Market. We will be using the core competence framework and the VRINE model to assess what strategic resource and capabilities are critical for firms operating in this space. As members of PAG2 Crescendo, our goal is to dive into fintech and financial services. Players can compete and thrive in the fast evolving African money transfer landscape. Let's begin with the basic. What is money transfer? It's simply the process of sending money from one person to entity to another across borders using agents, mobile wallets, or digital platform. So why does it matter in Africa? Africa is the fastest growing remittance market with over $100 billion flowing in during 2023, according to the World Bank. These remittance funds education, healthcare, food, and small businesses. For millions, they are a lifeline, not just a financial transaction. High mobile phone usage and low access to formal banking have made mobile money a cornerstone of financial inclusion, but traditional transfer methods are slow and expensive, creating room for tech-enabled and user-friendly solutions. As we see on this map, several countries like Lesotho, Liberia rely heavily on remittances as part of their GDP. This gives context to the urgent need for innovation in the sector. So let's look at the strategic opportunities. Some of the top remittance corridors include Nigeria, Egypt, and Kenya. However, success in this space comes with challenges, especially infrastructure and regulation. Many rural areas lack internet access, so farmers rely on USSD codes and local agents to serve the underserved. And the regulatory landscape is fragmented. Each country has different rules over licenses, currency conversion, and KYC requirements. Despite this hurdle, the market potential is clear. According to McKinsey, wallet-based payments are expected to see the fastest growth, with projected volume reaching 188 billion transactions by 2025. So to succeed, firms need resilience, localization, partnership, and agile tech infrastructure. This is an opportunity we are unpacking further in our analysis using the VRINE lens. Caroline will further explain to you about the presentation.
In terms of the key industry players, we have several players. We have traditional, we have disruptors as well as fintech startups with cross-border capabilities. And when we talk about the traditional players, we're just speaking about the examples of MoneyGram and also Western Union. And what helps them traverse the African landscape is that they have offices in all these markets, in all these African countries, and they're usually cash-based, and they have mobile operability, as well as their fees for the transfer is too high. When you look at the digital disruptors, these ones are the people who use mobile apps. These are fintechs which use mobile apps, and the good thing, wallet integration, and also they have just localized services which are tailored for both the rural and also the urban Africans. And the new players are these Series A, B fintech startups which have cross-border capabilities, and they're very well known because they're low cost, they're tech enabled, and also they're tailored to the underserved corridors. And when we talk about underserved corridors, we're talking about routes, and the challenges that they usually face are the regulatory complexity, trust building, because these are apps, and also scalability across the fragmented African market. Over to you, Tony. Or just to give also an introduction on the core competency framework. The definition of core competency is that you have to have capabilities that are really difficult for your competitors to replicate. So how do we apply these to the fintech in Africa? You have to have a mobile first in technology infrastructure. You have to have strong local partnerships, uh, regulatory expertise, brand trust and credibility, and also agile and scalable technology. My colleague Tony will give this more in depth.
Thank you, Caroline. So for this particular assignment, we were assigned to use the VRINE model. And like Caroline mentioned, the VRINE model is one of the resource-based view strategic management framework that came about. And it basically focuses on how the firm utilizes its internal resources and capabilities to get a competitive advantage. For the VRINE model, it is broken down into V, which is valuable, which means which of your resources are valuable enough to make you fight against the threats or opportunities in the industry. We talk about R, which stands for rare. Do you have any rare or unique resources that makes you a key player in the industry? We talk about imitatable. Do you have anything that your other competitors cannot imitate within the market? Do you have, for non-substitutable, are your resources easily substitutable, or do you have a unique resource that cannot be substituted? And then exploitable, which speaks to the ability of a firm to deploy the resources in a way that delivers value. So for this model, we decided to do an overview of the analysis within the money transfer area of Africa. And we looked at some of the core resources and capabilities that these businesses have and how it goes against the VRINE analysis. I'll just go into more detail in the next slide since we've decided to take some 3 key competencies or capabilities. So the first one I'll be speaking on is mobile first tech infrastructure. I think like either Vedi or Caroline mentioned, infrastructure is one of the key things that is required on the continent because a lot of African countries did not have the initial infrastructure. So any money transfer business that comes into the market and is able to build a solid infrastructure has created value that is very key and unique for their business. In terms of it being rare, if you're able to put the initial capital into the business, then you have a rare thing that may not be common among other smaller industry players that come into the market. In terms of it being imitatable, infrastructure is not something that can be easily imitated. But right now, we have a lot of new, smaller industry key players that are coming into and tapping into the resources of the telcos. In terms of it being non-substitutable, which we'll go into more detail when we come into the regulatory part, because a lot of the businesses need to get some licenses to be able to even build this infrastructure in the first place. And in terms of it being exploitable, a lot of the infrastructure needs to be scalable, especially as they expand. For the kind of technology we're talking about, to be able to get into the rural communities, having infrastructure in key places is very key. So we go into the regulatory part of things, right? Having the regulatory licenses to do business in a lot of African countries is top value. That is something that cannot be replicated because you cannot use the license of another company to do your business. So for a lot of key players, that is a rare capability or resource that they have. In terms of it being imitatable, yes, it's something that can be imitated as long as you have all the legal compliances required. But that is also not easy because it requires a lot of capex. So for a lot of key players that are coming into the industry, it takes a long time before they can imitate or get the required legal expertise or regulatory compliances. And then when it comes to non-substitutable, you can't substitute regulations. You need to do the right regulations to be able to be a player in the market. And then in terms of it being exploitable, it allows a lot of firms to expand across multiple markets because they've understood what is required in terms of regulations and they're able to replicate it based on the legal compliance of the countries. Then we're also going to trust and agents network. So one of the key things that we identified is that for a lot of players in the money transfer market to be successful, especially in a lot of the rural communities, having agents is one thing they cannot do away with, which is key value. A lot of them have been able to get agents in the rural communities to make money transfer successful. Is it rare? Not necessarily, because people have identified that this is one of the key things. However, in terms of imitation, for your agent network to be strong, there needs to be a level of training and oversight, which, if not done properly, can make your business fail or succeed. So there's some level of imitation, but there are also some core capabilities in there that cannot be imitated easily. And it cannot be a digital only model because you need people on ground to make it successful. Thank you. Over to Shamila to go into the case studies.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, the case studies. Okay, let's take a quick look at African money transfer space, where we talk about the leading brands like M-Pesa, MTN Mobile Money, and Airtel Money. These brands didn't just succeed because they had apps or mobile technology. They build trust with local people. For example, M-Pesa used a wide network of agents based in villages and towns, and MTN focused on getting the right licenses and understanding regulations in over 12 countries. For Airtel, they took a different approach, blending telecom strength with smart cross-border partnerships. And the lesson here is technology alone isn't enough to truly succeed. You need local knowledge, trust, strong partnerships, and a clear plan for growth. Our strategic recommendations, or we can call it how can new companies compete. First, what they need to do, they must build systems that work with everyone. Apps for smartphones, for example, USSD or SMS for basic phones, especially in rural areas. Second, they need regulatory experts who understand local laws that saves time and avoids costly mistakes. Third, apps should feel local with languages, icons, and features that make sense for users. And fourth, companies should use data wisely to offer loans, insurance, or savings plans that actually help people. Fifth, partner up with banks, fintechs, or telcos. It's cheaper, faster, and more powerful when you work together. And most importantly, invest in user education because when people understand how to use the platforms, they feel safe and they stay loyal. Looking ahead, Africa's future in money transfer is full of opportunity, with the African Continental Free Trade Area making trade easier and PAPSS enabling instant payments in local currencies. Cross-border transfers will become smoother and more affordable. We are also seeing the rise of super apps, wallets that let people save, borrow, shop, and more, all in one place. And with AI and machine learning, we can stop fraud, score credit faster, and personalize services. To conclude, I would say that Africa's future belongs to those who understand its people, use the right technology, and earn trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shamila. Also, in the conclusion of concluding our entire presentation, we are highlighting the mobile first technology, meaning we understand this technology, this way of transferring funds on the continent is important, but equally important is the way that and the tools that was going to be used in order to enable the users, the population, the communities on the continent to use this technology, meaning we have to develop solutions, apps, USSD solutions that can accommodate all types of mobile phone that are available. Also, we're going to improve the local knowledge and the culture of transferring money using these digital ways. We also engage the communities in order to build trust and also go through the regulation using the expertise and also using our collaboration on the continent like AFCFTA and more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.